So hello, my lovely people! Welcome to another episode of ArchyFantasies Plays Video Games. So, we're gonna start a new game. Yes, a new lovely game. Because what I would like to do here, we're gonna do two things with this beautiful character that I'm getting ready to load. I don't know what's happening. Why aren't you loading? There we go. We got two different things that we need to do, and one of them is look at the food. Look at all of our food options in the game, and the other thing we need to do... No. Wow, wow. Too big. Yep, that looks about right. Take all that off. Get this. Yeah, actually, he can use a little blue bow. There you go, boy, with his little blue bow. Isn't he cute? I mean, you know, it's as good as it's gonna get. I could sit here and spend forever working on him, but I'm not going to. Yeah. That's exactly how I hold his butt, too. Because he weighs a metric ton. Alright, so... I already created this character once, and deleted the video because there were technical issues with it. It wasn't cool. So, I'm gonna start off in the springtime. The spring-a-ding-a-ding time. Birds love the spring. A ring-a-ring time. As I mentioned when I built this character, which none of you heard, my game is heavily modded, and the reason for that is because the mods I use are basically gameplay mods and world effect mods. So I also have a butt ton of extra traits and jobs and aspirations. I don't usually use a lot of I don't think I have any of mods that affect the appearance of the Sims. Every now and then I'll download the pointed ear slider and some weird eye colors, but for the most part, I play the game as is, visually, because I think it's a very pretty game, and I think it does what it needs to do. Visually, there's just a lot of gameplay things from Sims 3, honestly, that I miss, and Sims 2, and that people who are smarter than me have figured out how to add to the game. So most of my mods directly affect the world, and they affect the game itself. That being said, so everything you see on this character right now is unmodded. So you will not see any items in my house or items on my Sims that are not base game. So like I said, everything she's wearing is what is in the game. Now, as I was building this character originally, I was explaining why she has what she has on. And I basically made myself, and I have this cute little hat. The hat was the hardest part, honestly, because I had to find this. I wear a Tully hat, so mine actually has a strap. But this is basically what it is. It's just it's a cloth vented hat. Tully hats are renowned for being pretty sturdy hats. Mine has some tale about an elephant eating it and then excreting it. And the guy just, I guess, washed it off and kept wearing it. They're very expensive hats, so I would probably do the same, honestly. The hat I have is a second generation hat, and it's like $75 when it was purchased, and my grandfather literally bequeathed it to me on his deathbed. So, yeah, so that hat goes with me everywhere. Now, the rest of the outfit is weird. I understand. And we're playing a little metagamey here, I guess. When I work, I have to wear... There are certain regulations for what I have to have on. I have to wear long sleeve pants. I have to wear long pants. We're not allowed to wear shorts. The leg flesh has to be covered at all times. That would include someone who, for religious reasons, couldn't wear pants, who also happened to be an archaeologist. The leg area still has to be covered with something, preferably something sturdy. So you'd have to wear that under your skirt. I have been tempted. Skirts are actually kind of nice out in the field. They create a nice little barrier around your legs. What I wear right now is some smart fabric pants that are quick drying. They're pretty durable. They're supposed to be rip resistant, so the thorns and stuff in the woods don't catch my legs and scratch my legs up and tear my pants. The other thing you'll notice is that the character is wearing long sleeve and gloves, and I do. I wear gloves almost constantly when I'm working, and all of my shirts are long sleeve shirts. And that is because I have gotten to a point in my career where my overall health is more important to me than my overall budget. But, and I say that because I have smart fabric shirts that are, they come from Duluth Trading Company. It's a nice company, very expensive. I'm not going to lie to you guys. If you're thinking about trying to recreate my outfit, just FYI, it ain't cheap. But they do have a lifetime warranty on them. The shirts themselves are supposed to be rip resistant, and the fabric is a smart wicking fabric, but it also is supposedly impregnated with jade micro pieces that supposedly make it cold to the touch. And it does, actually. When the wind blows, the fabric of my shirt will actually cool down faster. And so it's kind of like having air conditioning. It's really nice. Like I said, I always wear gloves. I splurged this past year and bought some nicer gloves. They were still only like, I think, $10 for the pair. They've lasted me a pretty long time. I'm pretty impressed with that. I don't tend to spend a lot of money on my gloves because you tear your gloves up. It's just how it is. You do a lot of screening in archaeology, and when you screen, you're basically taking clods of dirt and moving them through a 1/4 grid screen. And depending on what you're screening, it can be really hard on the material, even if you're wearing like leather or synthetic leather. It still goes through it. You're basically just grading dirt. So your gloves tear up pretty quick. Like I said, I've been pretty impressed with the pair I've gotten. I've only had to replace it once this year, and usually the really cheap gloves that you can buy for like $2 or $3 a pair, you're going to replace those probably once a month if you're lucky. Sometimes once every couple weeks, depending on how active you are. And the other thing here is my shoes. So normally archaeologists are required to wear boots, and the reason for that is because our shoes have to be steel-toed. Almost all CRM firms require steel-toed boots, or steel-toed shoes, or safety toe, because now we've got that really nice composite stuff that doesn't weigh a metric ton. It's really hard to find women's shoes that have a safety or a steel toe. It's even harder to find women's shoes that have safety steel toes that aren't 20-pound freaking work boots. Now, I own a pair of 20-pound work boots with steel toes, and I also own steel-toed muck boots, which come all the way up to my knees, and they are completely waterproof up to my knee. I love them. They were worth every penny I paid for them. I've had them for, 5 years, 6 years now. They're still in really good shape. I take good care of my equipment, so... I mean, if you spend a lot on your stuff, you're going to take good care of it. Anyway, long story short, I was able to find a pair of sneakers that are ventilated sneakers. They have a puncture-proof sole, and they have a safety toe. So They look like sneakers, but they fit all of the requirements. They also have a slip-resistant, no skid sole, which a lot of companies kind of require too. So they meet all of my safety requirements, and they weigh a fraction of the poundage that my boots weigh, and they're ventilated, so when my feet get warm, they can actually breathe. They're like the perfect spring, summer, fall shoe. I do have to give up waterproofing there, so they're not something that I would wear if it was particularly muddy or wet where I was going to be working. That's what the muck boots are for. But usually you know what you're going into before you get out there, so you can pick the appropriate footwear. My sneaks are my default, so yeah. And, oh yeah, my safety glasses. I always have safety glasses on. I have watched too many people take branches to their eyeballs. I have had one too many close encounters with my safety glasses on where, had I not been wearing them, I would have some really interesting scars on my face. I think safety glasses are a must, period. You can get nicer, you can buy really stupid expensive ones that look exactly like normal glasses, normal sunglasses, and have like impact proof up to some weird rating and stuff. You can also get pretty decent middle ground ones, and as long as you're careful about how you store them, and the lenses don't get too scratched up, and that really just comes down to you, you can probably get 2 or 3 years worth of wear out of a pair of safety glasses, assuming something doesn't happen to them. Like they literally take a branch and crack. That's what they're supposed to do, but you also have to replace them after that because their integrity is gone. Now, the other thing that is not completely true here is I usually am wearing a safety vest and a hard hat when I work. Those were not options as far as I was aware. Maybe I'll go back and try and see if I can make another outfit for her that way, or maybe download it somewhere, but yeah, so this is it. This is how I usually look going out into the field, and then when I come back, I'm usually filthy. So that's explaining the weird look of my sim, why she's wearing long pants and long sleeves and a hat and is covered from basically head to toe. Because I work outside, and outside is pretty, but it's also hell if you're not prepared. Since I spend so much time getting modded stuff, I guess I do actually buy some of it. Legit. I have downloaded an Archaeology career. Now, unfortunately, the career and the aspiration are not linked. But I do believe that this is fan-made. It's a rabbit hole, so she'll actually go to work and be gone and then come back. Maybe someday it'll be updated. But got 3 days of vacation. That's actually pretty real for my cat, yeah. Ah, yeah, game glitching.
Skuna Mitzel. No beam. Shorg.
Can't be too mad. Alright, so one of the things that the game originally did with the base game, because, you know, the job did not exist, but it does now. Originally, this is all you got, was the Archaeology Scholar aspiration, and it kind of encourages you to build the archaeology skill, which, you know, it does unlock some cute stuff. I've already played all this before, by the way. This expansion is a couple of years old, so yeah, I've played it. But what it does do is, if you want to build your archaeology skill, you have to go on vacation. Because the stuff... I don't actually want to take the cat with me. Well, too late now. Because the stuff that you need to interact with in the game in order to build your skill only exists in one of the worlds.
Lizzie B, Squamish Nabina. Barobi Bamoy, and
My problem with the vacationing thing is it makes it seem like archaeology is a hobby and not an actual career. So it is an actual career. It's, you know, there are people that have a lot of time dedicated to this. Alright. But as the game is designed, you can only do archaeology if you pay someone else to let you go on vacation. Now, the game also has... The game has ye old trope of you discover treasure and you get stuff. Sure, we'll bring Ragnar. So it does build on that trope. Actually builds on a lot of tropes that I'm not terribly terribly happy with, but I am kind of excited that they have anything resembling archaeology in the first place, so... You need Pepto-Bismol? Alright, so... There's no one here! So, welcome to the jungle, Archie! Some handy adventure items has been added to your inventory as part of your rental package. If you plan on exploring the Balomisia jungle, you should stop by... God, the names of these things. You should stop by the Porto Lamante Marketplace and... Or it's Porto Yamante Marketplace and pick up more gear. Well, that's where we would be if we were going to pick up gear. Oh, somebody did show up. Excellent. Okay, so what we need are... Ready to eat grilled cheese. Always have another machete.
yeah, dumps up in the ground.
And we need spider repellents. Then we apparently need a bathroom. Okay, and... She might have some stuff on her. I think I need a tent. To be fair... Ooh, tiny brushes. I don't need that. We're gonna build our skill. Yeah, you would usually buy all of this stuff before you went out, and you, as an archaeologist, would be responsible for your own gear. So it's not so unrealistic. It's just, some of the stuff is just silly. One of the neat things about the game is that you have to actually talk to people to get an idea of what their culture is like. So you can actually learn about the Salvadorian culture. Oh, she's really gotta go. By talking to the people who live here. Oh yeah. So here's the other thing. I forgot they had one here. But they also have one of these at the museum, which we'll go look at, I think maybe next time. Anyway, this is the archaeology table. This is kind of cool. I wish it was a real thing. I'm sure I can put one together. It's just a collapsible table, right? But it's kind of neat because it kind of tells... This is where you bring your artifacts later and you analyze them on the table and you learn how to... You build your skill by analyzing objects. And I think that's kind of neat that they have that aspect in the game. That after the excavation, you come and you start looking at your items and you learn your archaeology skill by looking at the items. I think you also build up your... Oops. I don't have it yet. The Salvadorian skill. Culture skill. The Salvadorian culture skill. I know I'm saying it wrong. I can't pronounce words. It's just the way it is. I especially can't pronounce made-up words. So, this is kind of a neat little setup, kind of showing you what they think you would use as an archaeologist. I'm not entirely sure what the pliers are for. We don't use wire cutters. And this looks like a reused makeup kit box that they've already got. And they just kind of painted it brown and reused it. Same thing with this little pencil box as part of the artist clutter. This, however, is actually pretty unique for archaeologists. I'm sure there's other people that use it, but yeah, this magnifying glass on a thing here, totally is something we use. I'm not even joking. But that's all stuff that we do in the lab. So I think it's nice that they've kind of created a lab and field part to the archaeology skill for the game. I don't know. I think it's neat. So this is the Salvadorian Museum. It's built by the game. It's the base game idea of a museum. It has another one of the archaeology desks. It also has a handy-dandy painting thing, because, you know, reasons. What I do really like here is this display case. And the reason why I like this is because it's very similar to what you would see in an actual museum. And then they also created a bunch of Gitchin stuff that would be seen in a museum, like here. This is behind the glass in a display case. It kind of shows that they were kind of paying attention when they were thinking about, you know, what would a museum look like in the sim world. Now, my cat. But they do have a lot of repeated objects, you know, to be expected. It's Sims, you know? Come on. Oh my god, pet this cat. Hi. My sim cat's yowling is actually upsetting my real cats. It's just a cat. He just has to go. See? He's playing with a laser pointer. You gonna get the laser pointer? He's a good girl. Yes, you are. So, my cat is chasing my mouse pointer. So, what you can see here is the... Yes, thank you. Excavation sites. This is what the excavation sites look like in-game. And I thought this was kind of a neat little mechanic when I first played it through, is that depending on your skill level of archaeology, which you will see I have none, depends on what your excavation looks like. So again, this is building off of the aspiration, not off of the job. So, as you can see, the skills for this job are very low. They're barely related. But, so, I have told my sim when she's done playing laser pointer to come over here and excavate. And I wanted you guys to see how the excavation goes at the lowest level. Apparently my cat's going to come play. Alright. So Archie's new skill in archaeology will allow her to excavate dig piles in Salvadorada and uncover artifacts on the archaeology table. As she continues with her study, she will learn how to authenticate artifacts and locate more dig piles. She will also be able to excavate artifacts without damaging them. Gee, I wonder why she damages the artifacts. No one ever does that. We do take a lot of pictures. I think that's kind of nice. We do stare hopelessly at our piles of dirt. Aw, your baby is upset. Okay, so we found a thing. So we found an artifact-shaped dirt clump. Now, when you're doing archaeology, for starts, no one's going to let you near an archaeology unit without training. And if you had training, you would never use a hammer and chisel on a unit because we just don't dig that kind of stuff. However, whoosh, again, there's no education path or any preparatory anything that you can do to build up your archaeology skill before you got here. There are books, and you could read the books, but yeah. No, I guess it faces that direction, or it faces no direction. Okay, so I can actually, yeah. Also, when we pull the artifacts out, we kind of know what they look like. We don't just pull out lumps of dirt. Again, hammers are not involved in archaeology most of the time. Bugs totally are. Chisels, not so much. I know what's going on here is they're actually just recycling a bunch of the animations that they already have for some of the other skills and stuff in the game. So, I mean, I know what's going on. Apparently, I'm thinking about skulls. Are we the baddies? You laugh, but my cat does actually chase his tail. The one thing she's not doing when she's examining things up close that I do is stick her tongue out. We've seen enough of this animation, I think. Alright, so there we go. Oof. So, as you can see, miraculously, we whittle away at this, and then pop! We instantaneously get a perfect artifact. There are several different kinds of artifacts that the game has, and we will get to see several of them as we go through the game, because actually part of it is collecting the artifacts. So, it is what it is. We'll be able to see all kinds of things. And there's different qualities of the artifacts. Like, this one I believe is going to be one of the poor quality ones because it isn't in color. And I know that the really expensive ones, which are the high quality, artifacts are in color. There's a whole discussion to be had there. But I actually kind of want to wrap up here this time because we've now seen both the early field and early lab components of the archaeology skill in the game of Sims. We have officially recovered our first artifact. What is this? Omniscan? I'm sure there's some joke there I'm missing. Artifact is cool. Again, a lot of this stuff is just kind of an amalgamation of every South American culture all into one. Some random island cultures because we don't know the difference. La 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 la. I guess by not making it Native American, they thought maybe they were being a little bit more culturally sensitive, but at the same time, forgetting that South American cultures are native as well, and you're just trading one country's native for another country's native, so dun dun dun. Anyway, that is the beginning of the archaeology skill in the Sims game. Oh look, we achieved a milestone of uncovering artifact from a dirt clump. Next time we will go and maybe have our first day at work, I think, maybe? And we'll also come back and visit Salvadorian, I think. We'll come back and visit the jungles again because we have not yet begun to explore the jungles. Alright everyone, see you next time.